Welcome back, everyone. So as you guys know, I talk so much about older iPhones and, different phones in general. And I've always wanted to make a video about, and I think I've made several of these, about my favorite cheap iPhones. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about my favorite ones of this year so far. Now, these are ones that are going to be substantially cheaper than picking up a brand new iPhone 11 Pro or 11 Pro Max. They still might be expensive to some of you. I mean, some are less than 100, some are more than 400, so there's quite a bit of range. But if you want to spoil the whole entire video, you can go to the description below and you can see all the phones that I linked on Amazon, and those are basically where you can get them at, so you can see all the names there. But if you want an explanation, there we go. My first iPhone that I would probably recommend to a majority of people, that I would consider one of the cheapest, best iPhones right now, as I've stated before, is the iPhone SE, dude. And I love this phone so much. I've always loved it since the first time I picked it up. And you're getting such a humongous value per dollar. And in some ways, I would probably recommend the iPhone SE over the iPhone 6s. I feel like the SE is just built better, and it feels a little bit more premium in the hand to me than the 6s, and that's why I picked the SE over the 6s. But really, they're both almost in the same league, so if you want a bigger screen, you can get the 6s. But I've seen a lot of these go for less than $100 on Amazon. And again, all these phones will be linked down in the description, so you can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. But I've seen a lot of these also on eBay go for around $70 and $60 as well. So there's quite a bit of range in the price, but like I said, that's less than $100 still for this specific phone. Now, prices do fluctuate, so by the time you're watching this, maybe it'll be higher, maybe it'll be lower, who knows. But as of me right now, these are all the prices currently. So the iPhone SE for sure, I would consider probably one of the better bang for bucks when it comes to older iPhones for sure. And the fact that it could potentially be getting iOS 14 just makes this thing that much more worth it in the long run. The next one, you guys already know, it used to be one of my favorite phones at the time, and I used to have it as a main phone. That phone was the iPhone 6s Plus. And the reason I picked this one over the regular 6s is because it has a bigger screen. I really do think bigger phones are better sometimes, even though I still rock the smaller 11 Pro. And with the 6s Plus, you're getting that 5.5 inch display. It's still a pretty fast phone. If you guys remember last year, I was saying and I was showing you guys, dude, the 6s Plus sometimes is faster than my latest iPhones, like the iPhone 10 and iPhone 10R at the time. And that was pretty insane. And the 6s Plus, even though it looks a bit older, you're still getting some key things. You're still getting Touch ID, you're still getting that headphone jack, the lightning port, and it still feels like a pretty good phone, and it's still pretty performance heavy. So I've seen a lot of these go for around $190 on Amazon, linked below. But I've also seen a lot of these go for around like $150 to $130 on eBay and other websites as well. So again, there's a bit of range, but still less than $200 for this phone. That's still pretty impressive. And the next one is pretty much the successor to this, and it was another phone that I own as a personal device, and that's actually the iPhone 7 Plus. And the reason I picked this one over even the smaller variants is, again, they're bigger, but the 7 Plus specifically, I think is probably one of the better bang for bucks you can pick up right now. And the reason being is it's a bigger display, it has 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is not even that much, but it's good, really, really good for an iPhone. And also with that dual camera setup, you're really kind of future-proofing yourself with that type of setup overall. It still feels like a really, really good phone, especially if you get that jet black variant. And these things are going for around $230 on Amazon as well, which that's a very, very good price for a phone like this. I mean, when you consider the iPhone 11 Pro for $1,000, yes, that's a way better phone. You're getting way more things in a phone than this one. But really, I mean, the iPhone 7 Plus probably can do 80% of what the 11 Pro can, and it's not even 80% of the price. It's way less than that. So for sure, at the end of the day, I'll say the iPhone 7 Plus for that $230 is a very, very good deal in my opinion. And the next one is a little bit more expensive than that, but the iPhone 8, I think, is a very, very good price for a phone. I mean, this thing costs $270 on Amazon, again, linked below. And this phone is really one of the main phones, I would say, that's kind of the bare bottom when it comes to brand new iPhones, because you can still pick one of these up brand new at the Apple Store. Well, not anymore, but once they reopen, you can pick them up for about, I think it's $549 or $459, something like that. And on Amazon, they cost hundreds of dollars less. And I would probably say wait until the iPhone 9 comes out, whenever that does, apparently in April. But either or, for $270 for a phone that's still going to be getting software updates for many more years, and that's why I will say 100% the iPhone 8 for sure is one of my favorite phones for that specific price tag. Now, these next 3 phones are kind of more expensive, definitely more expensive than the phones I just listed, but I still felt like they're pretty important to list here because these are probably one of the best bangs for bucks that I could possibly recommend. The first one being the iPhone 10. Now, obviously you guys know the iPhone 10 is one of my favorite phones ever made. It brought so much to the table. The design is still current, so even though it came out in 2017, it's still pretty much the same exact phone from the 11 Pro. The design pretty much is the same, like I stated, except for that additional camera setup and the different setup in the back. And the iPhone 10s on Amazon are selling for about $430, which is pretty cheap. I've even seen on eBay them selling for more than they're on there, so that's pretty surprising that Amazon is cheaper. Usually they're higher quality on Amazon, that's why I always recommend them. But $430 for a phone that's still getting software support for a long time, that's the newer design, that can be jailbroken. All these phones that I listed here can be jailbroken on that checkmate jailbreak, which is very, very important. Whether you use it or not, you have that capability, which at the end of the day is something that, like I stated, you can use that or you cannot use that. And it's one of my favorite things ever. You can jailbreak it on any software version, any variant like that, and that's one thing I would highly recommend people to do. So that one is the iPhone 10. Now the next one is the iPhone 10R, and this might be a little weird, like, oh, why are you putting this phone in? It just came out. Well, the reason being is that these phones have depreciated quite a bit for some reason. I'm not really even too sure why, but the iPhone 10R, yeah, I can understand why. But the next phone, I can say, I don't really understand why it went down in value so much, but with the iPhone 10R, you're getting a great build quality, amazing battery life. You're getting not that bad of a screen, honestly. I mean, it could be worse. And you're getting a great performance in that phone as well. And with a great performing phone with all those different things, I mean, even Apple's still selling them for $599 or so. And on Amazon, they're selling for about $437. And honestly, I feel like they would have gone down in value a little bit more had Apple just not released them in the Apple Store and not keep selling them. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I'm actually happy they're still selling them there, so more people can get their hands on them and hopefully upgrade to an iPhone at some point. But for $437, a lot of people are going to ask me, should I get an iPhone 10? Should I get an iPhone 10R? I'll tell you, if you can, I mean, I would kind of recommend an iPhone 10 just because it's going to get a lot of software variations as well. Like, really the main thing the iPhone 10R has going for it is the software variants. It's probably going to get more software versions than the iPhone 10, but even at the end of the day, I still think it's perfectly fine. The iPhone 10R is a great performing phone. I compared it to the iPhone 11 that cost $699. I even compared it to the iPhone 11 Pro that costs, over almost $1,000. And honestly, for majority of things, the iPhone 10R was able to keep it, locked down for the most part. I did a camera comparison and all that. Really, the only thing that's kind of lagged down about this phone would definitely be the lack of camera sensors. It doesn't have an ultra wide or a telephoto lens or anything like that. But I still think at the end of the day, for the most part, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be like a big deal. So the iPhone 10R for around that $430 is also a very, very good deal at the end of the day. Now, this last one, which I would consider one of the best bang for bucks right now when it comes to phones in general, and I'm not too sure how long this price is going to be this small on Amazon or if it's going to go away or whatever, but the iPhone XS, which, just came out, it's literally the last gen phone. It just came out in 2018. It's a very good phone, still has so much going for it, and for some reason, they're selling for about $470 on Amazon, and I've seen a lot of these things go on eBay for a lot more. I think the median price of these things is probably like around $580 to $600. That seems to be the right price for the iPhone XS. And I can tell you, the iPhone XS is still a tremendous phone. I mean, it's only like one generation behind. Of course, we're getting the iPhone 12s this year, but still, the iPhone XS for sure at the end of the day is a very, very good phone. You're getting that bright AMOLED display, the 5.8-inch display that's really, really good. You still have Force Touch on this display, which is really nice. You're getting that dual camera setup, great build quality. It feels really, really good in the hands. And there's really not too much to hate on this phone. And because it is the last generation, you're saving that much money on this specific device. I mean, think about it. The iPhone 11 Pro just came out. That thing costs over $1,000. When I compare the iPhone XS to the iPhone 11 Pro, I honestly didn't find too many differences between them. Like, yeah, there were some differences. There were cases where the iPhone 11 Pro was faster, the photos looks better, the battery life is better on the 11 Pro. But for the most part, for a $470 phone, you can't really find anything else. I mean, this phone is fully unlocked. You can't really find any other phones that cost this price that gave you this, amount of power. I've seen a lot of budget phones that are around like $400 on Best Buy and stuff that are good and compelling devices, but compared to a used generation of like last year, you can't really compete with that. I mean, especially for this phone, it's like half the price as the original price of this thing, and it's been out for about a year and a half now, not even. So I think for sure at the end of the day, the iPhone XS on the more expensive side is probably one of the better bang for bucks right now. But also, like I said, all these phones honestly are some of my favorite cheap iPhones for sure. And even if you get the iPhone SE that costs less than 100, or if you get the iPhone XS that costs more than 400, you can't really go wrong with either one. Of course, the newer ones will last you longer, but all these phones offer so much of the value, and they are great value per dollar phones at the end of the day. So, like I said, if you want to pick up any of these, they will all be linked down in the description below. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.